Welcome to the Krinzman Property Playbook, where we dive deep into the heart of South Florida's real estate scene. I'm your host, Matthew Krinzman, here to guide you through the strategies, insights, and community connections that make buying and selling real estate a science. If you're looking to move beyond the basics, build trusted relationships, and grow your understanding of this competitive market, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll be bringing on local pros, from attorneys to contractors, to give you the inside scoop on what it really takes to succeed in real estate. So whether you're an investor, buyer, or just curious about the market, let's kick things off and get you one step closer to your real estate goals. Welcome to the Playbook. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whoever is watching and listening to the podcast today. My name is Matthew Krinzman. I am the host of the Krinzman Property Playbook. And just a quick reference, I am a broker associate here in Miami with One Sotheby's International Realty. And today I have on with me Josie Martinez, also known as Mr. J, who is the head, or you run a local organization called Hope for Miami. So take us a little bit through that, Mr. J. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and obviously what you do and what Hope for Miami is all about.
Awesome. Thank you, Matthew, for having us on the show today. It is truly my honor and pleasure.
Thank you for joining.
Not only to share what we do, but just to talk about a great organization. Like you stated, I'm Mr. J. I'm the CEO of Hope for Miami.
CEO. Okay, great.
Yes. So I've been with Hope for Miami for a little over 10 years now. I was born in Nicaragua, raised in Miami.
Okay.
So we immigrated to this country when I was 6, turning 7. So this is the only place that I know. I left when I joined the Air Force in 1997, 98.
Oh, nice.
Pretty much after trying to figure out what I was going to do after getting out of the Air Force, I became involved with the Veterans Department at FIU, Florida International University.
Sure.
And there was an opportunity to work for nonprofits. I never really looked into nonprofits. I did not know what they were about. Back when I got out of the military, I did a medical. So I was like, do I go into nursing or do I go to coach basketball? Because I played basketball for Braddock. So I was yeah. So I decided to get my physical education degree, sports and fitness studies from FIU. When I got out, I was thinking I was going to go be a PE coach, the teacher that everybody loves.
In the public schools.
Yeah. And coach basketball.
Sure.
But God had other plans. He put this thing in front of me that was coaching sports, but teaching life.
Okay.
Through
all right.
sports.
Well, sports. I think sports always serves as a life lessons.
100%.
It's one way, I think, especially athletes or anyone who's involved in sports, is a way to learn how to work together, especially if it's a team sport, not an individual sport. Even an individual may have some influence takeaways from there, but I think obviously it's a team sport. And you said you played basketball in high school for Braddock, which is a local. So those who are listening, is a local high school down south Miami-Dade County. It serves as a great life lesson, I think. I think every child should be involved in sports at some level, I think. Just obviously with physical activity, but I think just learn how to work together, right? Whether it be Little League or going through high school or into colleges even. So there's some great life lessons from that. Sorry, continue on.
No worries. I'd love to hear all of this because at the end of the day, that's what sports teaches us, right? For me, it was already embedded in me what we do today or what I do today. So coming back, I realized, and when I started working with the kids, Touching Miami with Love is another nonprofit in Overtown.
What's it called? I'm sorry, one more time.
Touching Miami with Love.
Okay.
So it's another nonprofit organization, and that's where I got my first taste of nonprofit work. And working with the youth over there in Overtown, pretty much just going in and out of there. And what I found is that the youth were looking for somebody to be there for them. And not so much come with all the fixes and the answers to everything, but just listen to us. So I started making that connection because when you're a coach, you're not trying to have all the answers. You're trying to provide the guidance for the players to find out whatever you're teaching them, because every play, every game is going to be different. It's not all going to be the same, but how to discern, how to take a look at what's happening and say, this is the best course of action, the best play for me here. And life is the same thing. And that's what I found out. So when I joined Hope for Miami in February of 2015, I came on board as a health educator. Just somebody who went into the streets, went into the schools, talked to the youth about healthy choices, mostly how to prevent teen pregnancy and hold off on having sex until you find the right person. So we were going into the schools, the public schools, and we were taking the kids out of PE. So they was
Huh.
like, no, man, I'm gonna take me out of PE. You're gonna take me out of something that I like to do, and you're gonna tell me not to have sex. Come on, man. So,
Uh,
so
I'll
it
go
was
climb
tough.
the rope instead. I'll see you later.
So it
Gotcha.
was tough at the beginning, but once we got it like in the past the first couple of lessons, because we did it was evidence-based curriculum where you do a couple of lessons to try to put that change or in front of them. When you got past the first couple of lessons, the kids started to realize that we were not just here to tell you not to do something, but to put something valuable in front of you. In addition to building a relationship with us,
Yeah.
so much that there were many a times that the kids would be like, "Can I talk to you?" And sometimes you get a little nervous about those conversations, but they would ask some questions that they were like that you would expect them to ask their parents or
Hmm.
somebody in their like to give them guidance on that. And when they started putting value to what we were doing and asking us those questions, I was like, you know what? I may not be coaching a sport or something that I wanted to do, but I'm coaching life. I'm coaching life for these young people. I'm giving them the things that are going to come out in front of them. And not necessarily to say, hey, if something happens, this is the way you're going to respond, but it's just giving them the tools
The
and the
tools.
resources under their belt and say, you know what? Whenever somebody comes up to me, and especially with the girls, and the girls, they got a guy that's trying to be smooth with them and kicking out his game. I'm like, you know what? Give them 3 months. And
Give them
when you
three
give them three
months.
months, give them 6 months. And
Then
after
give
that,
them a
you
year.
just yeah, yeah. After that, you just it gets easier, right? Because you start building on it. And it's, you know what? You start seeing who these people are. And what
Hmm.
I love to tell them is like where they been, where they going, and what
What
purpose do they have in your life.
interesting. Take us through what Hope for Miami is then. Tell us
Man,
what it tell us, tell me and tell everyone else what Hope for
yeah,
Miami does or is and how long it's been in the community in South Florida and Miami in particular.
yeah, awesome. So getting to that and just putting that little background on what we do. Hope for
Hmm.
Miami is an organization where we focus on prevention, preventing things from happening.
Such as
Such as when like with the program that I was talking about where I was at, like teen pregnancies, sexually transmitted diseases, so healthy relationships, teaching them what they are. And even with the after school and summer programs, like we have a Hope for Miami, we are giving them some things to do, extracurricular activities, and not to be sitting at home browsing the internet, idle minds. So giving them something to
idle
stay
minds, idle
busy.
hands.
Yeah, 100%. So that's what we do, and it's preventing them from getting into something that could back and bite them, or
Sure.
even be put in a situation which a lot of our kids are being placed nowadays
Mm.
to make an adult decision when you are not prepared to make an adult decision. And that's where we are lacking as community and even as parents, that a lot of us feel, okay, our kids are good, but our kids are being bombarded with so much things through the internet and the phones that it's moving
100%.
too fast for them.
Yeah, look,
Um,
even I know as an adult, obviously I'm an adult, that being inundated on a constant basis with
mhm,
information, especially with the social media and having that dopamine effect that, oh, I got to check it. And look, I think I'm just as guilty of those things because just yeah, as a child would be, because it's your brain has become rewired in ways, even as an adult, now because of how we're attached to our phones and we're attached to our computers and everything else in life now is so integrated with social media and constant information being bombarded that as an adult I have difficulty, but I can imagine what a child would have something.
yes,
The difficulty's got to be much more immense
yes.
for children at this point.
You're right on point with that. And I think that's the part of us where we understand that even with our brains, right? They say that it doesn't fully develop to the age of 25. And
And it's, I guess, maybe as generations change, right? As we generational gaps and things like that. But it feels as my generation was considered Gen X. Again, when I talk to like, we feel a lot younger mentally than our ages.
mhm,
And I don't think the generation before us, definitely, I think they seemed older. They probably were at this
yeah,
age when I was their age now. But kids, I think, are either, it just seems like they're becoming adults or trying to grow up a little too quick because of, I
yeah,
think, it's a social media. And I could be wrong about this, but I think it's obviously the social media has a huge effect and obviously family life, things like that. Where Hope for Miami comes in, I'd like to know where you guys come in and you're obviously trying to help the children, give them tools, break away from a little bit being too connected with on the computers and getting out and about. But how are you doing that? What are some of your programs?
Yeah, before I jump into that, so I'll go
Hmm.
back. Hope for Miami has been around since 1999 and
Yeah,
2000.
it's a good track
The
record. That's a long
yeah,
time now.
yeah,
It's
it's a long
26
time
years.
of doing work into the communities. The founders, Pastor Mr. Rick Sawyer, Charles Sawyer, and Miss Yvonne Sawyer, they saw a need in the
Hmm.
community, and we started off as Family and Children Faith Coalition. So it's
Okay.
like a coalition coming in together or just finding ways to serve the community.
Hmm.
But then whenever the Children's Trust, which is one of our funders right now
Yeah.
here in Miami, they came out with money for programming. So we're one of the first organizations to receive that funding,
Very
to be
nice.
able to do some after school programs in the community. And that's how we started. And then later on, after we saw the after school and summer camps were moving along, we got into the prevention of programs with Project U-Turn, which is one of
Hmm.
our longest standing programs that is funded by the state of the Department of Health in the state of Florida. So when we started seeing that need and going out there, we continually started to expand as an organization. And we rebranded Family and Children Faith Coalition to Hope for Miami. So we're doing business as Hope for Miami. And the reason is because we kept on getting a lot of DCF calls.
You were being confused with
Right.
DCF, which is Department of
Yes.
Children's Family
The
Service.
Founded Children and Family. So they were calling, hey, how do I get food stamps? We're like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do that, but
That's not us. Yeah.
here's the number that you need to call. So the rebranding of the organization, of course, brought a new logo and everything. And the idea behind the logo was of all of us being threads in the community and building a tapestry of shalom
Threads.
around our
Okay.
city, right? So if you look at our threads, our logo has those threads interweaving with one another. And that's all of us in our communities with our resources, our gifts, our talents, just being able to put them all to work into the community
Got it.
with unity.
Interesting.
So
So the threads are like so how we all tie together to become a
yes,
tap. I got you.
yes,
Okay. I
yes.
like that.
Everybody from every sector, every movement in the community plays a role in how our community continues to move forward. So
Understood.
hopefully, so that's what we do. So when you look at our programs, we branch down into different departments
Mhm.
where we have our after school and summer camps. Right now, we're in the middle of summer camp. We 3 weeks in, going on our fourth week. And basically what we do is we have 9 locations that are funded by the Children's Trust, and we have over 500 kids in those locations combined.
What's your age? What's the age range of the children that you service?
We
You
have
help.
we have some a couple of different sites that operate with different levels. We have some that have K through 5.
Okay.
2 sites have K through 5 and middle school, and then 3 sites have 9th to 12th grade. And these 3 locations are in Miami-Dade County Public Schools, and they work with children with disabilities.
Oh, okay.
And all the programs in the locations that are with working with in partnership with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, they're free of charge to the families.
Nice.
So the families don't pay a dime, and especially in that community, for us to be inclusive and to allow our kids just to feel like they are special, like that they do value, that we value their existence as well. And what I love about our programs is that it's reverse inclusion. So about 90% of those kids in those locations, they have a disability. But then
Oh,
we have 10% that do not, that are part of the school. And basically what I love about this is like breaking down their stigma and also like fostering togetherness and unity. So whenever they see each other in the hallways in school, it's not no more like kind of like you turning away, but now you see somebody that you know and now you high fiving and now
so you accept. Yeah.
everybody's showing acceptance, correct?
Nice.
So
Very
that's one
nice.
of the most beautiful things that I love about our program. We have a lot of great partners that help us as well because we can't do everything together.
Of course.
The Advocacy Network is another organization that helps us out. They come in, and when we tell them, hey, we don't know how to work with this child, can we help them if they're a one-on-one? And they'll find resources for them. They'll come walk alongside of us and they'll help our staff to be better able to serve the children. So for me, it's special. One of our special things that we have here at Hope for Miami with those locations. So we serve over 500 kids altogether. And I think a lot of our parents are paying around 450 to $500 for summer camp, and
That's nothing.
we're opening from 8 to 6.
That's
We're
long
doing
hours.
field trips. So it's something that we feel in a need in the community, of course, through support of other organizations and our funder. But that's our after school and summer camp. We call it the out of school and disability services division or
And then
department.
during the year, where are you working during the year with the children, the
We
kids?
we are like at the same 9 locations. It's just that we're doing after school. So we're opening from 2 to 6.
Okay, so you're in the schools itself.
Yes,
You're inside
we're inside.
this.
Yes, we're inside of the campus in those 4 locations. And like I stated, those families don't pay anything, but at other locations, the families are paying about $90 a month for after school from 2 to 6.
Now,
We help them with everything.
how many families in general or overall are you, is Hope for Miami helping on a yearly basis right now? Do you know?
We're close to 6,000 families
Wow.
through our different programs. And that's just like 500 there, close to 500 of what we do with our out of school department. And
Hmm.
then when you get to our prevention department, we have other programs there as well that deal around healthy relationships, financial literacy,
Oh,
substance
that's, I like
abuse,
that. Financial
education.
literacy. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
That's
very
important.
important.
That's overlooked.
It is.
You always, there's ways obviously to learn about financial responsibility. I like how you brought that up. It's an important tool to have in the toolbox. If I want to be cliched there, I remember, I went to private school growing up, but I know in the public school system there were classes that were given back. We're talking the 80s and the early 90s, where they had classes on accounting or bookkeeping. I don't know if they have
Mhm.
them now, but there were classes that were being given to give children or younger teenagers at least the ability to understand how to balance a checkbook or how to debit and
Mhm.
credit, which I didn't really understand until I got to college. And maybe I still don't understand debits and credits, to tell you the truth, even my
Right.
present day. That's why I have an accountant. But there was the financial literacy, knowing how not to get into trouble with money, how to manage it, how to use it to invest, things like this, how to just manage your household, really. So you make sure your bills are paid, that you're not overextended. This is something obviously I think a lot of Americans get into trouble with is debt,
Yeah.
and or at least know how to manage it. Because I come from my business, I come from a background where it's like there's good debt. Mortgages are considered to be a good debt. Credit cards are not so much a good debt because of the interest rates and things like that. But
Right.
I'd like to know more about how you teach the, I guess, younger adult, teenagers how to by that financial literacy. I just get curious a little bit more about that.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And that's a part of one of our programs in the prevention department that is called Ready for Life.
Ready for life. Okay.
Ready for Life.
Nice.
So it's actually funded by the federal government.
Mm.
So basically, what the way that it works is we go through a relationship smarts curriculum. So we talk about relationships first, teaching them what is a healthy relationship, what does it look like. We talk about white flags and red flags, things that you have to keep an eye out for. If somebody keeps asking you why you talking to somebody, why you following somebody on social media, why are they liking your pictures, those
That
are red
pressure.
flags,
Uh-huh.
right? Those are red flags that you have to take a look at them and say, where can this take me? And that's all we do is just for them to keep an eye out. And this program is so important because even us as adults, if we were to sit through one of those workshops, you probably walk out of there saying, wow, I'm in a relationship that is not healthy.
I'm
Right?
married, so
Yeah, and I remember when I went through the workshop and there were people that we were talking to, man, I need to go home and make some changes. And it's
it's
funny
well.
because they said that, you know what, before you start looking at all of this, take a step back. Don't go
Hmm.
making emotional decisions on what
Sure.
you're hearing. And I think that's the part where we have like given the youth and some tools to be able to
Hmm.
do that. To not make an
Nice.
emotional decision, but make an informed decision on your future and know and see exactly what's happening. Because you don't need to go through something to learn or to realize something that somebody already went through. Right. So
Yeah.
that's the part of life. And that I
Sure.
love is that and we're not going to change anything that happens. So through that program, they go and learn about relationships. And then we have 3 additional workshops that talk about money habitudes is a curriculum that we use. And basically we talk about some of those things that you were speaking about that in high school existed because when I was going to Braddock, I took accounting.
So
I
there
was
were
going
there
to,
still
yeah,
those
yeah,
classes were. I don't know if they're still there now, but
yeah,
I remember
yeah,
now that because like I
yeah,
said, like, I didn't go to public school, but I know from people that went or that there was those classes. Home
yeah,
ec was still a class
yeah,
back then, which
yeah,
I think would teach. Those serve a
yeah,
purpose, and I think they
yeah.
serve a good purpose. Maybe it's a good idea to bring them back at some level.
Yeah, I think so. I think the school system has been moving to that, and I give
Hmm.
them credit for that, for
Good.
bringing some different programs and bringing some classes in, and they're taking the opportunity and the initiative to do that for our youth because it's very important. I think right
Sure.
now, especially for families that the parents were not raised here,
Hmm.
and to realize the importance of credit. We talked about the mortgages, that being good credit and then the bad credit. We don't know that. All we know is, hey, I get credit. We don't have money. We're going to make ends meet. And then you turn around and you have $15,000 in debt that you paying 20 something percent in interest rate. So it's like one of those things that you have to look at. A lot of us as parents, if we are financially educated or savvy, we talk to our kids about that and we educate them. Hey, listen, don't go jumping into this. If you need something, a lot of us were in a different place than our parents were too. Come
Sure.
ask us. We'll help you out. We'll do whatever we need to. But some of us that grew up back in the day with our parents being the first ones that go to school, first ones to college, first ones to go to the military and the Air Force, be
Sure.
on our own, we have no clue. So we jump into a lot of things that a lot of us are still paying for because we couldn't get
Understood.
out. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things that we don't want our parents and we don't want our youth to fall into that.
We want to create good habits. That's what it
A
is. You want
hundred
to create good
percent.
habits, and you also want to create a good relationship with fun,
Yeah,
with money and credit,
yeah,
and understanding the tools that are available, so you don't get
yeah,
into trouble, and you're able to use the money and credit,
yeah,
appropriately for
yeah,
yourself and for your family and for your future, and
yeah.
what may happen down the road.
And yeah, and a lot of the youth that we talk about, ninth and those that are in 10th and 12th grade, they're like it's brand new to them.
Yeah,
What we're talking to them, and this youth is going to be leaving and go being on their own and consider adults.
very soon. Yeah,
So that's what we do with Ready for Life. And then, of course, we have Project U-Turn, which has been around for about 18 years,
nice.
funded by the state. And this is one of the programs that we go in and we talk about healthy relationships as well, mostly around teen pregnancy prevention and sexually transmitted diseases. What I love about those programs is that it's healthy relationships once again, but we're bringing a different view because a lot of us we see in our homes, okay, it's okay for my dad to talk this way to my mother and my mother to not
Mm,
to take it. But that doesn't mean that because that's what happens in your house, that is the
it's the
healthy
right
way
way.
to have a
Yeah.
relationship and communication. And
Mm.
then we have a substance abuse program as well, where we go in and we talk to the youth about drugs, especially vaping right now, and everything that is out there and the effects on your body and what it can do to your life.
So you want to help create a healthy life, a healthy lifestyle, a healthy personal inner
Right.
self,
Yeah.
obviously, that then which creates obviously a positive mental
Yeah.
attitude and image for themselves, for anyone really. But to go out in the world and, hey, I have the tools. I
Right.
understand who I am as a person. I know how to
Yeah.
communicate. I've learned how to. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. I know how to communicate properly. I know, yeah, these are things obviously that make a good person. Not necessarily a good, because I think family and obviously structure and society help. But if you have those tools, I think you'll do better in
Yeah.
life. You'll have the
Yeah.
ability to do better. I think. Whatever
Yes.
your station in life is,
Yeah.
I think you just live a better life in general. That's the whole
Yeah.
idea.
That's it. And I think more than likely, the possibility of somebody going through any of the things that we're speaking about, they're pretty
Mm.
high nowadays.
Oh yeah,
To be put in a situation where you need to make a decision, whether to say no or yes.
we had that too when we were growing up.
Yeah,
You growing up, it was like, say no to drugs.
right, right.
This is your brain on drugs, and to crack the egg and put it in the frying pan.
Yeah,
And we had obviously those pressures in life. I
correct.
think every generation has pressures in life, but it's
Right.
different. I guess obviously either they get, I guess they grow, they seem to be bigger
Yeah,
as society progresses, or whatever you want to call it. It's maybe because this technology has progressed in a way that seems to make it more pressure filled.
yeah,
But look, I remember growing up, and like you said yourself, we had those things, and I'm sure the generations
yeah,
before us, everyone had their own issues. But at least from what I can see on TV and the society and like online, it seems that kids are definitely under a lot more pressure
yeah.
now than before.
Yeah, they are. And that's the important part for all of us to understand is that they
Mm-hmm.
are. And even though those scare tactics, they work in the past because it was like, hey, here you go. And this is your
Yeah,
brain on drugs. And but now we have those conversations like going back and forth. And this is why you shouldn't do this. And then we take the
sure.
whys, right? But why? Okay, here's the why. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about it. Let's have a discussion, especially when in our communities right now, everybody is saying it's okay for you to partake in some of this stuff because it's legal, because it's medicinal, whatever it is,
Moderation. You have to learn
but
how.
it's
Look, yes, you're right. It's medicinal. There's legal stuff now that we didn't have.
right,
We always had alcohol. That was the one thing we always had. So you had that was
right.
our where you either you learned the hard way or the right way, wherever it learned. But
Right.
yeah, it's even though it's legal, doesn't necessarily make it good.
Correct. Correct. And that's where we're trying to have those conversations because what they see at home is what they see at home. What they
Of
see in their
course.
community is what they see in their
Of
community.
course.
But,
Yeah.
and if you don't step out of that community, you're never going to change the cycle. You're never going to break that cycle of
Mhm.
those things where you fall into the poverty, into the addictions and things like that. And those are once again going into prevention, right? Give them the
Mhm.
information before they take those steps to fall into that lifestyle. And then with the community department, when we talk about everything that's going on around them, we have a program that's called Project Bridge that goes into the communities and they talk to those that are working with youth about youth mental health first aid. I love it because I think of it as CPR,
Mm.
right? When you see somebody in a cardiac arrest or having a heart attack, you go and take the steps to look at them and say, hey, you know what? I have some basic training that I can go ahead and give you some type of assistance. And I think with youth mental health first aid is that we're showing the signs and symptoms of a mental distress. So we can
Mm.
point them in the right direction to get help and to encourage them to get help and not just sit back and be a bystander because we don't know what to do. And I think that's what I love about this. So we go into the community and we educate anybody that's working with you that has youth to give them those tools so they can help out as well. And what I love is that we also educate their peers as well because they're the
Mm.
ones that are around them. They're the ones that have the conversations. They're the ones that get the texts that we are not aware as adults in the
Sure.
private chats and everything to say, hey, if you see this type of wording, if you see this happening, encourage your friend or whoever you work in being a part with that chat to get help.
Little ounce of prevention goes a long
Right.
way.
It's very important. And all of that is free to the community.
So
Um,
just sorry, it's free to the community. Okay. How does the community get to you? How do they find Hope for Miami if they're not if I'm not if those they're not in the schools? How do they find Hope for Miami, or how did they get in touch? How do they
well,
reach out?
what they contact is they can go on hopefulmiami.org and contact find out, hey, we have different programs out there. Who's the contact person for the Youth Mental Health First Aid Project Bridge? And we'll put them in contact. And this individual will be able to go into the community. And if we can get like 10 people together, it can be a business, it can be a church, a school, whatever it is, we can go in and deliver that training. We'll bring the curriculum with us. The
Mm.
instructor will be there. All you need to give us is the space and the audience and
Nice.
we'll be able to do that. And a lot of our programs work like that. Even the ones that work with the youth, they're all free. Just give us
Mm.
a space in the audience and we go in and we talk to the youth. Granted, those are a little longer because we could be like 13 sessions that we're going in. Because once again, we're trying to establish change. And the only way you're going to establish change is to going through that evidence-based curriculum, taking it through fidelity and giving them lesson by lesson, building on what we have worked on that foundation. And one of the other programs that we have is a coalition as well, where we get the 12 sectors of the community here in the Flagami area to work together when we look at what's going on with tobacco sales and underage drinking and things like that. So we go into the community, we do an assessment of the environment, and we look at how are the stores displaying in their
Mm.
merchandise that has to do with those things. Are they like low where the kids can see them, or are they high out of their way? Are they IDing their kids when they go purchase something to make sure that they are of age to be able to get these products?
So
So
this is just for everyone who's out there listening or watching. The Flagami area is an area in Miami that's known as Flagler Avenue. It goes all the way. How far? It goes from, guess what, from downtown? No, does it incorporate all of downtown, or downtown also, or is it just over once you get over the bridge from downtown to west?
it branches out because you got Little Havana as well around that area. Little
Hmm.
Havana extends with Flagami
Yeah.
going into past like close to 20th Avenue. Then
Hmm.
past that, like going to like 27th, you can start looking at that, like the Flagami area all the way to the airport.
Right down to like
Um,
57th or
right,
something like that. Yeah.
right. So our location, we're off 59th Avenue,
Well, okay, so you're right there.
and Flagler. We
Mhm.
serve the community here, and that's what we're trying to do. Is just bring those with a coalition esperanza, is what we call it. Be a
Mhm.
part of the community. Once again, we can't do everything on our own. So it's bringing those 12 sectors, people in the community, parents, teachers, business owners, faith leaders, just to come in together and say, how do we together change this perception of that our kids are seeing in our community where they think that smoking is okay, vaping is okay, drinking is okay, to say that it is not and give them the resources, the education for them to make informed decisions.
So, what are some of the other? Do you partner up with any of the private businesses and private organizations and corporations here locally as well? Do you have partnerships with them?
Yes. So of course, like a lot of the buildings that we own, it's not ours. So going in and out of the community, we have to be a part of community. So we have churches that we partner with,
Mhm.
Miami-Dade County Public Schools as well. We have banks that opened up their doors.
Oh, yeah.
So Chase opened up their
Let's give
doors
them a
to us.
plug. Let's give those
Yeah.
banks let's give them a
Yeah,
plug.
yeah, Chase, TD Bank, they all have been great partners. CIBC that support our organization and what we do by saying, hey, you know what? If you need a workshop space to do this, you can do it here. We'll
Nice.
provide it. You come in and you can invite people. That's what we need. And even with our church partners as well, we have shared space with them. We're not paying market rate space rent like lease, right? So
It get
we're paying
expensive, trust me.
because it is expensive when you're looking at it.
Oh,
And
absolutely it
for
is.
us to take over their church, giving us 5, 6 rooms, we're so blessed for them to be able to do that, to work together. And even with the school system as well, because they have their processes as well. That's the give and take where we don't charge the families and they provide us our space to be able to facility usage and everything to be able to
Mhm.
provide our services. So it's very important. And then we have other organizations and businesses as well that come and volunteer with us. And that's what I love is about our other thing that we do is that we have a volunteering neighbor net, we call it. And it's people to come in, join us. And I think what you do right now is very important. And I think a lot of us, we have a job. We have
Sure.
a job where we need to make ends meet to continue to live and pay for things. But a lot of us don't have the blessing of what we have, and even you with your show, to be able to put in work into the community. And that's what I want everybody to understand, and even with other nonprofits that might be out there, is that it's very important for people to find a way to put in work into the community. Even if your job does not fulfill you that way, find a way to fulfill somebody else putting in work through the
I like
community.
that. Give back.
So, and give back in some way, somehow. Like we
For it
like
may be if it's monetarily or with your own time and money or just or
hundred
time.
percent.
May not have the money, but sometimes the time is greatly appreciated. Like you said, seems with your organization that especially have someone come in and talk to the kids or whatever, have
Yeah.
an impart some knowledge of that they have. Hey, I'm an expert in this. I can
Mm-hmm.
help here, give out knowledge, and also obviously need funds as well to run
Mm-hmm.
over because run any organization. Just obviously you have the partnership with the public, with the county, and obviously with the state, but you obviously need private partnerships to help because one part is only so much that you get from the
Right.
public, and you need to also the private to come in and fill it,
Yeah.
backfill in for you. So how do the people or private organizations get with Hope for Miami and say, hey, look, we have this, we'd like to either donate or give time? How does that happen?
Yeah. Just easily contacting. Contact at hopefulmiami.org is our email. Or even calling us to the office at 786-388-3000.
Give that one more
Um,
time.
786-388-3000.
388
3000.
3000. All right.
And just contacting us is that easy. And what I love about what we have here too is we're transparent. Anybody that wants to come in, and I actually encourage people, if you want to see what we're about, come volunteer with us. Come see what we do with our youth, with our
Nice.
community. And then if at that point they can make a connection with us, and then go ahead and if you can support us financially, then do that. Once you see
Sure.
what we do, because for me, if you just decide to make a donation, that donation is just a transaction
Sure.
and it goes past nothing more than that. And you can finish that transaction because you are not connecting to us and say, you know what, I'm done giving $50 a month to this organization because I'm not seeing anything in return. But if you come in and you spend time with us and you know what we're about and you see where this money is going
You
and
understand it.
you feel it. And for me, is feeling
Mhm.
it. And that's what I want people to understand as well. If you decide to give to us, you're not giving to Hope for Miami, you're giving through Hope for Miami. Because we have a good mix of financial resources through the grants. But like you stated, and even what's happening around us today, grants are not guaranteed.
No, of
They
course
can be
not.
here today and gone tomorrow. So
Depends
that
on the
support
budget
from
for the local
100%.
governments or the state or even on the federal
Yeah,
level. It's like where they sometimes, unfortunately, things get cut.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
decision that's made by a higher up saying, look, you know what?
yeah.
We
And
looked
it
at
happens.
this. Hey, we just don't
Yeah,
have the money or we just can't afford to spend it anymore. You're
yeah.
gonna have to go backfill it somewhere else at this point.
Yeah. And that's always a threat. There's always a
Of
threat.
course.
When we do a SWOT analysis, is those threats are always out there of losing a grant and that money ending. But what we don't want to do is remove these programs from the community. Because at the end of the day, We do have our programs and they do make us run and we have deliverables, but the youth, they don't grow up in programs, they grow up in the community. So we
Right.
have to continue to support that community. And the only way that we continue to support the community is if the community itself supports the community.
100%.
So
Do you have any, does Hope for Miami have any, what's what I'm looking for, events or things that are coming up in
yeah,
the near future? Do you have a calendar online that shows what's going on, things that are important, or do you have anything important coming up in the next, say, weeks or months or during the rest of
yeah.
the year that you want to talk about? Just give us a little bit of background on.
Yeah, most definitely. We have some back to school events that are coming out.
Oh man, back to school already, huh?
Yeah,
Jeez.
already. But the 9th of August, we have one happening here in our location where we're inviting the community to come in. And if they want to support us by donating, they can as well. Supplies, book bags, anything that we can pass out and just have our kids prepared to go back to school.
Sure.
I remember when we were in school, and I'm sure you did too. Like whenever you came back with those back to school lists, there were times that we can't get everything.
Yeah, it depended on what day you showed up at the store, because it was like if you started shopping for school supplies 2 weekdays after school started, you were
Yeah,
out of luck.
yeah, you were out of luck.
You're getting the worst of the trapper keepers. You're getting the trapper keper that no one wanted. It was the
Right?
weird, it was the one that was the purple one. You're like, oh, I don't want the purple one. I don't want to be
Right.
seen in school with the purple one. That was yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah, we were four, so my mom was like, "I gotta buy
geez. That
for
was just
four of
me.
y'all."
Yeah, of
So it's one of those things where we want to be able to provide our families. So instead of
course.
wasting or spending money on supplies, they can spend that money on something else that could be more beneficial to the family. One of the things that I would like to mention is that we have a gala coming up.
Okay. What is that?
Well, it's going to be the 4th of October.
Fourth
It's
of
going,
October.
mhm,
Okay.
it's going to be at the Billmore.
Oh, nice.
And this is only our second one that we ever done. So an
Oh yeah.
organization that's been around for a long time, we haven't really focused on this type of support. And we want to give everybody a great experience, a great night. It's going to be the Roaring 20s. We're going
Huh.
to come in together, eating, dancing. We're going to pass out some awards to the community for outstanding work that others are doing as well.
Nice.
But one of the highlights of this program is that I didn't really mention it because I wanted to leave it to the end, is that we have a Men Up program. We
What's it
call
called? A
it
man up?
Men Up,
Men up. Okay.
Men Up. And basically what we do is we use a curriculum to talk to fathers and give them a parent workshops. And we talk about what does it look like to be a father? And what we were finding is that whenever we started looking at all these other things that we have talked about, the unhealthy relationships, the financial literacy, the substance abuse, is that a lot of the homes were missing a father figure in that home or somebody that the kids can talk to and gravitate to, whether they be young men or young ladies. This was something that was really dear and near to my heart
Nice.
because my father stayed in Nicaragua and I
Oh
grew up
yeah.
and I
Hmm.
have three kids, three older kids now. But fatherhood for me is very important. And then
Nice.
even with the mentorship, the coaching and everything that we've done. So what we were seeing is we needed to supply them with
Hmm.
resources as well. Because a lot of us as fathers, we do not know how to be emotional. We do not
Well,
know how to be
I think
nurturing.
men in general. I
Right,
think it's a
right.
men
Yeah.
and it's man thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, when you become a father, it's not about you. It's not about your pride. It's not about what you went through. It's
Hmm.
about what somebody else is going to go.
Right.
They shouldn't
Right.
go through the same pain that you went through because you were not able to, or you were not supported to get past that. So even from the first session that we do with his fathers, and if anybody that's listening, just understand the impact of this is that if we asked you to close your eyes and envision that person that was supposed to be your father figure walk through that door,
Gotcha. Interesting.
you
Very
already
interesting.
taken it to you're gonna have a whole different emotions that is gonna go for each different person. Some of us can sit, close our eyes, and we see our father that was present,
Mhm.
that supported us, that loved us, that encouraged us. Some of us will not see anybody walk through that door. Others will see somebody that walks in that door that was the opposite from the first person, and they tore us down every chance that they get. They didn't teach us at all how to be a good father. And
Mhm.
those are the things that we want to work through. When
Nice.
it's
Yeah.
getting to that point to saying, so this happened to you, and nobody can ever take that away. But we don't want our kids to go through the same thing that we're going through. So when we want to be able to provide more fathers with this opportunity. So this is our focus of our gala. is for
Nice.
us to be able to deliver this session and say, we want to do it for free. We want to be able to go into whatever space and say, let's have a meeting. And about that is just having a community for the fathers to be able to come back in and just talk to each other and build community on their own together to be able to just keep on spreading the word. We do it already in some spaces. I play basketball still at my age, even though
How's your hoop game?
you know what? At the age of 46, going on 47, whenever you have like the kids that are 20, 21,
Uh-huh.
22, and I'm gonna get him because he still can play. It gives me validity. So I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
gives
man,
you it gets the juices flowing, huh?
I can still play, man,
Yeah.
but then I gotta cover that person. So I don't move as fast. My hips are not that mobile anymore. So I hear cracking and crumbling and everything all
You
over
gotta
the place.
stretch. You gotta
Yeah.
stretch
Well,
before
I
and after.
do stretch before and after, so I just got to change my game up. I'm just gonna be the old man that sits in the corner and
Just
shoots the
shoots
ball.
it from the corner. Yeah, look, that's just be the Steph Curry
Right?
on the court at that point.
Yeah.
Don't move around a lot. Just
Right.
this surprise everyone. You're like, oh, he can shoot.
Right.
He can
Yeah.
make the
Yeah.
J. He can
And by
hit
the
from the.
time they realize, I already scored like 6, 7 points.
But you still then, but
Um,
you don't go back on defense. You just stay down.
no, I don't play full court, man.
Oh, okay.
That would just be one game for me. With
Yeah.
half court, I can play 4 games. So
Gotcha. Funny.
but going back, we already had those conversations in those spaces at
Mhm.
barbershops. We talk about, what it is to be a father, the problems and all of that. So
Mm.
if anybody goes onto our webpage and they look at our logo for Men Up, it has like little triangles that go up in different sizes. And that's
Mm.
because for every father, there's mentorship for each other. And even for me, having 3 kids, we have a 25-year-old that this is our first. He's 24. He'll be 25. That's the first 24-year-old that we ever had. And then the middle child, he's 20. That's the first middle child that we had that is taking us through different things than we didn't experience with the 24.
Sure.
And then our baby, she's 18. So that's our first daughter. She's taking us through a whole different path that the other two we didn't experience. So
Every
even
child's
though,
unique. They all
yeah,
have their own experiences, obviously.
100%. So we're seasoned,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, we're still learning.
Of course.
And that's what parenting is.
Mhm.
Parenting, there is no playbook. There is no right or wrong way to do
Playbook.
it,
This one's
right?
like that.
Love it. And when I saw your name, I was like, because that's what it is. A lot of us is
Yeah.
like, hey, the playbooks are important, but at the same time, you have to be present. And I think it's the same way with realty, right? You have to be
Mm.
present and look at the market. And with parenting, you
100%.
have to be present and you have to look at your child. You have to
Yeah.
listen to your child. You have to see their moves, see their cues in order for you to find an opportunity to be a parent. For
Very
them also
nice.
to understand that you're here for me and I'm gonna approach you. And that's what we want to do for fathers, is for them to understand that regardless of where you're at, whether in the home, out of the home, or even behind bars, if you're incarcerated, whatever it is, you still matter and you still impact your children's life.
Very
And that's what we
powerful.
try to
Yeah.
do for them. So if there's anybody out there that would like to join us in the gala or even support that mission, because this is something, Matthew, that goes past Miami. This is something that takes the state of Florida. This is
Sure.
something that takes the United States, where fathers are not given the resources,
Mm.
and they're so important. It's so important. I have been an active father in my kids' lives, and the teachers, the counselors, they did not want to see me come in because I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
ask questions. I was
Oh,
going to ask questions like
so
if
you're involved. That's the
yes,
difference. Yeah.
and
You're
that's the
involved.
thing. I was very involved, and if it was sporting events, I was there.
Of course.
If it was awards, I was there. Whatever it was, I supported them, and for them to know, hey, education matters, because I didn't have that for me. I
Mm.
struggled with education. I struggled to learn English. I don't like reading now. I still have to read, but I don't like doing it because it wasn't really put into me and fostered and
Right.
say, hey, reading is important. Literacy is important. You're going to be doing it for the rest of your life.
Sure.
When a lot of us, we don't understand that. So for us, it's very important, but more so is for the fathers to understand that you can still nurture and still keep your manhood and your pride. You can still be a nurturing father, because
Great.
nurturing is one of the strongest words in the dictionary if you break it down. And it's not just a motherly thing. It's something that we can all do together for our youth, our children, in our communities, so we can bring hope into their future as threats in Miami.
Wow, that was a very great, excellent, powerful way to tie this all up and finish this all up for us. Just hopeformiami.org is the website The phone number to get in touch with Hope for Miami is 786-388-3000. How do we find Mr. J?
Mr. J is, you can send me an email at just the letter J, Martinez, Martinez, at hopeformiami.org.
Okay.
And then you can call the same number as well. And mine is extension 305.
30. Wow. Okay. You're all the way Miami, huh?
All the way. Just like my sports, everything's Miami. I ride or die with Miami.
So you bleed orange and teal, then obviously,
Yeah,
as a Dolphin fan.
yeah, I've been bleeding a whole lot for them.
I don't have much left to give, unfortunately, at this point. I'm almost tapped out on the blood.
Hopefully, we'll be rewarded soon.
Look, at least we get to we have a decent hockey team. We have a really good hockey team, so that makes us happy.
Oh yeah. I enjoy watching it.
Yeah. I didn't grow up with hockey, but I'm on the bandwagon.
It is what it is. No ice or no ice for us.
No ice, except in my drink. All right. Is Hope for Miami on any social media?
Yes, we're on Instagram at Hope for Miami, and you can also find us on Facebook. We haven't really on LinkedIn as well. So we're on LinkedIn. We have our business profile on there.
And LinkedIn, it's Hope for Miami. That's how you can find
Hope for Miami. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they.
All right. Yeah, that's beautiful. All right. Look, I hope those who are watching and listening get something out of this, learn a little bit more about what Hope for Miami is and what you do there and what the programs are for the kids and also obviously for adults too, because if you're really working with the fathers and trying to get them help fathers get more involved and be involved in their children's lives and be part of it and give them help them with some skills and how to do things. That's great. And I also like the financial literacy part that you are helping the younger teenagers learn about in life so they make right decisions when it comes to financial planning and their finances and all the good things that you guys are doing over there at Hope for Miami. I'm glad I got to learn a little bit about what you do because like I said earlier, I did not know what Hope for Miami was, but I think you did a great job on helping explain what it is that you do and what Hope for Miami does for the community. And then again, anyone wants to get involved, you know how we've given you the information. Please listen to this. When you listen to this or watch this podcast, share it with your friends, hit the subscribe button, follow along, link up, follow Hope for Miami online and LinkedIn, and hopefully we can get you some more help out there for you.
Yeah. Matthew, can I say one last thing?
Sure, of course.
If you don't mind, I appreciate everything that you have shared. But one of my biggest things is I always thought my why was just to be a coach.
Sure.
But now when I write my own personal mission statement and how it aligns with our organization, and that's what I would encourage anybody to do, whatever field that they're in, is write your own personal mission statement to see that you are connecting in the way that you were intended to put in work into the community. Because a lot of us, we don't understand that our work eliminates the path for others to follow. And I think even with your playbook, you do the same thing because we are sparking some passion, cultivating resilience and generating a ripple of effects of inspiration that empowers others around us to choose their purpose, whatever that may be. And that's what we need to understand whenever we connect our why to what we do daily is what changes all of us. And where we don't see our job as just a job, if we're able to put in work, now we're seeing a connection to our why and able to make that passion just flow to others. If you have not done so already, please look at your own personal mission statement and connect it to what you do daily. And I'll guarantee you, once you start connecting those whys, you will not be just having a job. You will be putting in work.
I like that, connecting the whys, personal mission statement. It's a great way to end it. Just I feel now I'm inspired. I'm ready to go through a wall, although I'll probably get really hurt by it.
Take some leave.
I got some leave with me. We speak each other's language on that. Jose, it was really a pleasure meeting you, and I hope we can continue the conversation, get to know each other, and please stay in touch. It would be great, and hopefully this gets the podcast helps in some way, at least if it connects with one person.
That's it. We did what we needed to do.
Exactly. All right.
100%.
Thank you very much, Jose, for showing up with me today.
All right, Matthew. Appreciate you. Thank you for that.
That's it for today's episode of the Krinzman Property Playbook.
I hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel inspired to take your next steps in the real estate game. If you're ready to make a move or need expert guidance, let's connect. Whether you're buying, selling, or looking to invest, I'm here to help you navigate the South Florida market with confidence. You can reach out to me directly through my website or on social media. Let's get the conversation started and make your real estate goals a reality. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on the Krinzman Property Playbook.